This is Dr. Coleen Cox, and I just wanted to share with you, I didn't know this about you, but you were in the United States Air Force Nurse Corps. My
Yeah.
mother was in the Air Force Corps as well.
Oh,
In the late
okay.
40s, 1940s. That's where she met my father, who was in Air Force. My father was in the Air Force for 30 years, so I was part of a military family growing up. So it also,
Nice.
I know, it's incredible. So I was so proud of you. I was so proud of you. I
Thank
thought this
you.
is fantastic. So her nursing practice has included frontline and management positions from pediatrics, labor and delivery, maternal child, GYN, children with special needs, long-term care, adult home care, and behavioral health, which gives her a tremendous broad experience of nursing as a profession. And she's also been practicing for many, many years, and she's been a leader in a lot of different nursing leadership organizations, which really makes her stand out as someone who is a voice for the future, of someone we can listen to. So she has many professional memberships, and she has been working in her educational process. And I am so delighted to have you here as my friend and colleague.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm delighted and honored to be included
Oh, I'm so
in
happy
the
you're
nation's
here.
visionary nurses on the edge of evolution. Thank you. Thank
Tell
you.
me about it. Let's all talk about it, because it is a very important time for us to really look at how we can co-create this future together. And what are the
Yes.
possibilities of the future? What can we think of that we need to step into? And how can we provide the leadership and the voices and ask, everyone who's listening to become part of this collective voice? Not only are we speaking in this moment right now, and you're listening to these dialogues and conversation, but we're really encouraging you to have the same dialogue and conversation among yourselves, among each other, and reach out to each other, because now's the time for us to communicate and co-create it
Yes.
together.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So tell me what some
So,
of your ideas are and your visions that you think are critical at this time that we need to consider as we move forward into in being now and also into the future.
now and into the future, I had to reflect first on when I worked on my master's in nursing and the focus on education, because that's a pivotal moment. Education is the foundation of what we do. Apart from the caring, education, our education, as well as educating our clients, let's call them our clients, our patients, our members,
Right.
right? And I really reflected on that question that you sent during this critical turn in our world. What are my personal aspirations to fulfill my purpose as a leader?
Mm-hmm.
So, as I am in academia right now, a pivotal point for me is to take a leadership role in research as well as application of evidence-based strategies to enhance online learning experiences.
Wow.
Think about it, online learning. So it is so interesting. I'm thankful I started with in the traditional setting for my own learning, as well as in teaching and facilitating. I started in the classroom, teaching in the classroom some years ago, and it has transitioned to a hybrid approach. And up to earlier this year, I was blessed with the opportunity to be a full-time faculty in an online RN to BSN program.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So with all that's going on today, we could say we were already online. So we did not have to really flip our classes, let's say, and try to get on. We were on. But still, I want to reflect on ensuring that we use evidence-based strategies to enhance online learning experience of our students, right?
Yes.
Uh, my goal, promote and participate in, we have to develop online nursing education programs, right? and adopt nurse course designs and instructor facilitation methods to promote our students' critical thinking. That is the pivotal moment for higher education, along with nurses, all our learners to have critical thinking as they head into the workforce.
Mhm.
Our employers want employees and nurses who can think critically, use the knowledge that we have to participate and work in that environment. And in our world as it is today, we are going to have to think critically as to how we can accommodate to what's happening around us that's happening so fast. So I used the community of inquiry framework when I did my capstone with the program, and that involved the different presences, our cognitive presence, social presence, and teaching presence, right?
Yes.
So we need to have these type of frameworks to ensure that we're using the appropriate strategies to educate and ensure our students have enhanced critical thinking as we have transitioned now to online for so many of our other programs, our undergraduate programs that was face-to-face all along.
Right.
And we're hoping that they get the critical thinking. How do we do it?
How do we
And
do
we
that?
have to have a framework. Yes, we have to have this framework. We need this framework. So for example, and as I am getting ready to start my classes, right? And with our nurses, and I must say my nurses are on the front line right now because they're RNs. They have their associate's degree going for their RN, but they still need critical thinking. How are they going to make it at a time like this? For instance, cognitive presence, right? We have to identify and make our discussion questions engaging enough and have them participate in it so that they can also guide the learning of themselves and each other.
All right. So we're talking about cognitive presence.
Yes, the cognitive presence. We have to be there cognitively there for them.
Right.
It's such a delight that as I start to craft my next term's class,
Right.
that I will reflect on these strategies to ensure that these nurses are taught that way, that I use the tools that are necessary.
That's
Social presence.
right.
Instead of using text
Right.
for my introduction, I'm
Right.
going to tape it. I'm going to pull down the text that I have. Well, I won't pull it down, but I am going to actually tape it as well. So we have to meet people relationally.
Okay. Yes.
Yes, relationally. So I've been going and going. I should let you, do you have?
I think this is fantastic. So one of the things I want to ask you, since you're already online and nurses are going RN to BSN, and that is a trend to the future as we move into education and basically upping our, embracing more education, educating ourselves in the way we think, the way we analyze, the way we speak, the way we make inferences, the way we have dialogue with ourselves and other professionals. You also talked about social presencing.
Yes, yes.
And tell me more about that. What does that mean when you say social presencing?
Our social presence, we need to definitely, in this online environment, for instance, I make sure I have a picture up for my students so that they'll know when we start the course, it is to ensure a picture is there. And that's why getting some of that voice to voice as well, and pictures from them, from the students, so that we could connect with them. And in addition to me doing the video and audio for them, I'm going to implement having them also do that because we need to connect. We need to be prompt in responses. What is happening now without giving personal health information or personal information? The students are out there and things are happening to them as well, especially at this time as we're going through with our pandemic. I am doing my best to respond to these students as soon as possible
Right.
so that they know that I am present for them. I
Right.
am not letting more than 24 hours go by before I respond to whatever it is, their concern, their question, or anything like that. And
Wow.
I'm then sharing with my chair and others so that they know what's going on with these students. Being present, they know I'm there
That's
for them.
fantastic. So you really see the future is online education is is going to be one of the components of the future as we move into creating, as our discipline evolves and our professional roles evolve, you see the online educational part of it that is just integral in making that happen.
It's going to be integral. Absolutely. Absolutely. And when we email, whether we have to know the time when it is to connect by phone, by voice as needed. We have to know the time. So a significant issue happened with a student, I made sure that there was time. I gave that space, and then a call. I asked, what's a good time? And a call so that that voice to voice could happen.
Perfect. And that seems to be very powerful. At least that's what I need in my life. I'm just learning this experience of being on Zoom, and I'm taking a few online classes. And what you're saying is so powerful, is to have the face-to-face on Zoom is really incredible. Being present so we can see each other. So we actually create an educational community that even if we are alone in our environments, we're not alone. Even I notice this is powerful, even if it's not live, you can get on a call
Right.
and you can see other people there and you're part of that group, even if you weren't there at that same time. I find that very interesting.
Yes, it's an interesting phenomena that we have in that, just reflecting, if you don't mind, just me hearing and keeping track of what they're saying. We're talking about social distance. I remember, I can't quote exactly who it was, who said it's really a physical distance. We're not socially distant. We're
Right.
being social right now, right?
Yeah.
Social presence. Oh my gosh, how powerful social presence.
Well, you think about how expansive our world has become just in having friends on Facebook. I am amazed that, I'll walk around and I have so many friends that know me, and I'm thinking, wow, I am such a
Absolutely.
social person on Facebook. Who knew I had so many friends?
Absolutely.
It's
And
wonderful. It's actually
it's been
wonderful.
great. Absolutely. More engaged than Twitter, more engaged than LinkedIn, giving folks that opportunity to vent and share.
Yeah.
And I'll get to, of course, I'm going to get to Gene Watson at some point, but I was able to, I mean, I literally had to, and this is digressing from the students themselves, I literally saw a nurse who just had to let it out and it was on LinkedIn, and all the love was being shared and everything. And I took a picture of the purple 10 Caritas processes, and I posted it to let that nurse and anyone else know, especially the area where it says to allow for that emotion, both negative and positive,
Yes.
to go out, to give them that space.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yes, that's
That's so
social presence.
That's so powerful to honor the expression of both positive and negative, especially as
Yes.
nurses, where we have to hold another person's story in our hearts and we hold their story. And it's so important to let it be the truth of what is.
Yes. Yes. And avoid the minimizing or comparison to anything else that might be going on over time. This is now, this is their issues that they're dealing with, so that we could be socially present with them in it. Yeah. And I had a student send something to me today, and it was like, oh my gosh. So I had to get back to this one, her immediately,
Right.
because the need was there. And she's telling me to be safe. And I'm like, you're telling me to be safe? I was humbled. I was truly, truly humbled, because here you are out there and you're telling me to be safe. You're going through what you're going through and you're telling me to be safe. That
That is remarkable. That's one of the things I'm hearing in this telesummit is how what extends caring, what makes caring so powerful is that we truly care for each other despite the difficulties we are going through. And we actually extend ourselves to others in a very beautiful way. That's what I have, one of the things I've experienced as a nurse is I'm so humbled by the power of love and caring. And it's like, it just is such an incredible energy force,
absolutely.
who we are as human beings.
Yes. So I know you sent another question, so maybe that could be the time we roll into that one.
Okay, that's
As
great. That's great.
you're highlighting that, you asked, what vision do you hold for nursing to fulfill its global mission and purpose to serve humanity for a world in crisis? So the vision, it is, first, I want to highlight the National Year of the Nurse and Nurse Midwives, right?
Yes.
This is pivotal. I know I've been giving love to all of the healthcare, all of the frontline workers, no matter who they are, from the bus driver to everyone. But it is just an awesome acknowledgement of where we are right now in nursing. And I just hold that we need to continue and persevere in our professionalism, because that was the foundation that was given to us by Florence Nightingale. That was professionalism to the height. She was there already doing research and giving us guidelines. Isn't that interesting? During Crimean War, how things should be done. And here we are now having to wash our hands. Doesn't that reflect on the things that Florence Nightingale told us
Exactly.
we need to do since the 1800s, right? So, all that, I was looking at the World Health Organization and different things that we need to do and can do to uphold our mission here in celebrating nurses and nurse midwives. And it highlighted that the world needs 18 million more health workers to achieve and sustain universal coverage by 2030. Approximately half of that shortfall, 9 million health workers, are nurses and midwives.
Wow.
It's us. So I say we have to participate in activities like this. We have to connect to our organizations, right? That's why I make sure I drive up to the Sunshine Consortium to participate and lend my energy or gain energy.
Oh, your energy is powerful, and I so much appreciate you being there.
Thank you. So four key words. I'm not going to elaborate on all of them.
Okay.
Empathy out into the universe. Evidence-based practice. We need it. Evidence out in the universe. We need to participate in that. Ethical practice. We need to stand on our ethics. We have a foundation of ethics and we need to stand on it.
Tell me more about that. Tell me more about the ethical foundation, because that's important.
Okay. So And I remember at some many years ago, I bought the ANA, the bookmarks, and I used to give that to my staff. This is your standard practice. I used to give them out to my staff, and I reflected on them and looking at, I found our 9, and I said, let me take a look at another country, our neighbor, right? Canada as well. Ours are long, but at the beginning, provision 1, the nurse practices with compassion and respect for the inherent dignity, worth, and unique attributes of every person. That's what's driving our nurses and all our healthcare workers, but our nurses out there right now, right?
Yes.
In our world. Yeah. And interestingly, the Canadian Code of Ethics, most succinct, there is one that says honoring dignity, inherent dignity, honoring dignity. So it may be, we went and looked at throughout the world, the ethical principles that nurses stand on, more than likely would be the same. Would be the same, right? Promoting, and one term I had was social justice, promoting justice, social justice in all this as we care for all our patients. Some we're not sure what's going on with them, others we do know, right? So that to me is pivotal. It's our foundation. We need to stand on our code of ethics going forward and not sway from it. We need to stand on it. Need any more?
Yes.
So we understand. Thank you. We understand our evidence-based practice. And
more about that. Tell us about each character, each one of the concepts brought up.
Well, as we know, empathy, putting ourselves in the other person's shoe, putting ourselves. And that's going back to our situation that we have right now. Everyone is a human being. So we have to understand it's not only the person, that we have the individuals who are diagnosed, and then we have the ones who are caring for them. And the ones who are caring for them are going through significant things as well as we see them going through. Who may have, I was looking at a doctor in Brooklyn. I'm from New York, so you could well imagine. I've only been down here a little over a year. And my family's all there and everything. So it's like, And there was a doctor that was being interviewed, and she has 3 children. She's a widow, but she's going out there to work. Now, we have to remember to empathize with those who are being cared for and the individuals caring for, and seeing that all of this that's happening, when something happens, it not only impacts the individual, it impacts many others. Those children are being impacted. She highlighted and thanked, the doctor did, the teachers who had to flip, and now so many of them do online education. My sister is one. She was like, oh my gosh. But she wasn't doing that before with students in New York City. Yes, yes. So we have to hear their story and understand what they're, and feel for them. It's not just let's do this. There are people behind the doing of what we are looking at. And of course, our evidence-based practice, I said definitely research. And I am going to expand on my capstone for when I do my faculty development and my action research into enhancing critical thinking in the online environment. So I'm going to expand that work. I'm going to expand that, right? Yes. And I am to also integrate caring. How we integrate and demonstrate and can measure caring in the online environment of education.
That's
All
foundational.
right.
That's foundational. So as we come to the end of our interview, tell me more about that.
All right. So the only way I can really say that is to share that when I did, and my Caritas coach, education, and thankfully got through all of that and has been doing my best to put it forward as much as I can. The definition of caring for me, it's a holistic process that includes the value and attitude that has become a will, an intention, or a commitment that manifests itself in concrete acts based on interpersonal relationships. Relationship, whether we're right next to each other or across Zoom like we are doing right now. Yes.
Wow.
So other things I'm doing, I am what they called it, the sunshine person to happy birthdays and send out different, what I did at work, but I changed the name and I called it the Caring Sunshine Circle.
I love it. Those
Yeah.
are beautiful acts. I mean, those bringing, like what I hear you bringing is bringing joy, sunshine, and light into what we do day in and day out, and how important that is, and how that just changes the energy. And those kind of intentional acts are so critical in our lives that we need to enhance the value of those experiences.
Yes. So I want to end with a quote, and you know more than likely where it's coming from, and it is my my signature at work by Gene Watson. Gene Watson stated, "We cannot know caring unless we have learned from within, for ourselves, with ourselves, and with others, within a relational worldview. Human caring begins with a love of self and other, of humanity and all living things."
And as we come to the end of this incredible, powerful interview, I'd like to invite you to take that in. All living beings. Just that
Yes.
alone is a consideration that's deeper than we were in the past, at least the recent past. All living beings.
All living beings.
Coleen, thank you so much for this incredible time I've spent with you. And I love, I love the energy. And I know that you are creating creating, the new future of online learning. And you're one of the leaders in that because you've been doing it. So you know the possibilities of it, and you know how it can be better, and you know that it's constantly evolving. And with the empathy and the evidence-based and all the things that you're talking about, how we can move into the ethical foundations of what we stand for. So thank you so much. I appreciate it so much.
Appreciate you too. Okay.
I will take care. You take care. You be safe. Thank you.
Thanks.